a service of Webster University's School of Communications. This is your station, your voice, the Galaxy Radio.
Now back to WebsterFuse with your host, Glenn Fuse.
Michael Langston.
Glenn Fusilier.
I know I say this every week, but every week we have somebody in here to talk with that is interesting.
I don't know what it is, but WebsterFuse, we always get the good guests.
That's because we research people. We go out and we extend into the universe, the stratosphere, and we try to find people that are compelling, that are interesting to talk to.
Oh, hell yeah, we do, and we got one here today.
So take a guess at who we have.
I'm going to guess.
Take a shot in the dark. She's been in radio.
Shania Twain.
I said in radio, not on radio.
Oh.
But that's a good guess.
Is it Mac?
Mac on mic.
That's me.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. And you did not search that far. You went to Instagram. I didn't know the Instagram reached the stratosphere.
Well, do you want to get into how we met on Instagram?
Let's. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you were employed by Emmis Broadcasting, which changed hands into Hubbard Broadcasting? Is that
Correct.
who they were?
Yes.
And then usually after what happens with these big conglomerates is they merge, they buy out, and then sometimes...
And then they purge.
And then they purge.
And then comes the purge.
The merge and then the purge.
Right.
And unfortunately, you were in the wake of the purge.
Yeah, I didn't make it past this round.
But that's all right, though, because you're gifted, you're talented.
I'm young.
You're young, you have a great persona, so you'll bounce back.
I'm hoping to.
You were the afternoon DJ for they were alternative rock?
Yes. Yeah, I did afternoons for about a year. I was there 3 years total. I did weekends for a while, afternoons for about a year, and most recently I did nights for the past year, evenings.
How did you get into radio?
Well, I did it in college. I knew that was what I wanted to go to college for. So I went to Lewis and Clark, and I did the radio program there, and then I needed an internship to graduate. I got an internship on the morning show for The Point, the Rizzuto show. So I was the second intern they had ever had, and it went really well. It was like enough of a timing where they were like, if you're here, you keep your head up, and you do all your work, we may have a place for you at the end. So I did, and I ended up being on weekends right after that. My internship was about 3 months long this summer, and they hired me right away.
Nice. So the Rizzuto show gets pretty good ratings. They're a pretty popular show, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel like they've gotten a lot bigger even since I started, and they were already big to begin with. It's crazy.
Was this the show that was here and then got shipped to Chicago and then came back?
No, that was a different show.
I'm thinking of the
Mason
Woody
and Remy.
That was Mason and Remy, yeah. But
Remy.
I worked with them as well. They worked at a station owned by Hubbard as well. Mason and Remy, they would recently just come back.
Yeah, what was that story like? Did they say something kind of off the cuff? And
I don't know anything about that story.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just know
about
that they were
one,
back.
Glenn.
I know that they came back a few months ago.
Right. I think they went. I'm
know
probably
they
going to
went-
butcher the story, but I think they went to Chicago and did fairly well and then came back here.
Yeah.
I don't know
that's right.
quite what the story was.
It was money.
Radio is a brutal business, and I don't even know why we're in it other than we have a passion for it. I mean, I believe in the medium as far as disseminating information, and I believe it's an emotional medium unlike any others.
Right.
Like, you can transcend feel, and it's here and now. It's kind of like what's happening now. So I have a passion for it, but as far as the business side, like you were talking about, is very scary.
The business side is hardcore, man. You think it means a lot about talent, and then at the end of the day, I want to say it almost doesn't, but man, that's just maybe me. I have a very downward view right now.
Yeah. Well, let's dig into that, because I work at a radio station. They just fired the news director, and everybody's like, why? But they're the powers to be, and they're running a business, and they have reasons for why they do things. So.
Yeah. I mean, I know what it is, but it's just also, it is a lot about money, and you forget about that because you think about being the best personality and working towards that, but that may not always be it, It's just, and maybe you just have to go somewhere else to find it. I don't know. This was my first big radio gig, so this is the first time that anything like this has happened to me. I've been lucky that people along the way that I have talked to have gone through something like this, and now that I've been able to be like, you know what, a lot of people did tell me there was going to be a round of cuts after this, and I should have known. And luckily, those people are people who have moved throughout the industry as well and can help me with connections. So
right.
I'm young. I can bounce back. The story with the Rizzuto morning show was just that the other host had left, and Riz then took it over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He went to Los Angeles, California, though.
The
He went big time, California.
Just a quick side note, because my mom, who was also in radio, that's where my parents met.
Oh, yeah.
was-
Your mom
got
and
radio
your
on his
dad.
Yeah.
Your mom and your dad. That's great.
He was
Yeah.
conceived in a studio.
No, I was not.
I believe
Oh my
it.
God.
I'm kidding. Yeah, really.
I believe
now
it.
the family's going to ostracize me.
Clint, we have crossed the line, bud. She just texted me because she's really good friends with Mason and Remy. The owners of the Chicago station just kind of blew up the station. So that's why they came back, really.
Makes
But
sense.
speaking of business, it is cutthroat, and clearly, Mason and Remy went through it. You went through it.
Yeah.
What was the process when they kind of gave you the hook?
It was very short. It was very quick. It was actually a meeting that I had scheduled. I had asked to meet with my boss. I was like, hey, let's get some FaceTime in. I haven't seen you in a few weeks. And as soon as we got there, he was like, unfortunately, we're going to be meeting with someone else. They kind of just explained it to me. And I kind of knew from the beginning. I mean, when there's like a little file sitting there and like, you know. And,
Feel the tension.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay. They were super nice about it. I could tell that it was a decision that they didn't want to make, but that they had to make. Like, they were like, I said, I'll try not to take it personal. They said, please don't. It's not personal. Like, it's not. It's business. And they're gonna still help me. Like, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Like, it's not like I got fired. Like, they're gonna give me good recommendations. I'm gonna be able to go on and carry on somewhere else.
And everybody in radio knows that it's the nature of the business. That it's not
Right.
that you suck or you didn't have a following or
Exactly.
you missed a post every song.
Enough people know that and have been telling me that. I mean, like I said, I don't know. My other experience is college radio.
We jumped right into it. We didn't even establish you as
I know nobody
as
even
a
knows who I
personality
am.
or
There are people
a
listening
person.
like, who is this girl? She
Right.
lost her
Glenn,
job.
give
And the
the
people who are
background
speaking
bio.
Russian are like, what?
I do not understand. I just want my vodka.
That's how I like to move.
Right, exactly. Well, we had a few shots of vodka, and now we're ready to move on.
Let us
So,
go.
I have another one in my purse if you're ready.
no, one's enough. One makes me goofy. Actually, I drink to get normal. That's how
Oh my God,
black
Glenn.
Back
I
to
am.
baseline.
Right.
I feel ya.
So in researching you and trying to build a bio, you're kind of an anomaly in radio in the fact that you didn't move around. You're a local talent.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've been lucky that I didn't have to go a bunch of places and end up back home. I just started here. I came from Illinois and
We're at in Illinois.
Bethalto.
Bethalto? Where's
Small town.
Bethalto?
It's closer to Edwardsville and Alton. It's
Population 5?
population's about 10,000 around there. Population
bad.
5, 10, 11,000. Maybe not quite that much, but yeah. So then the community college that I went to really was good. That's in Godfrey, which is maybe an area that it's closer to Alton as well, like right off the River Road.
They have a strong broadcasting school.
Really, really good program. And I actually wanted to go away for school. I had another failure. I wanted to go away for school, but the only thing I knew in high school was cheerleading. So I tried out for the cheerleading team at this college, and I didn't make it. So I was like, I am not going there. I wanted to move far away. That was my dream. Move really far away after high school, start over. But when that happened, I was like, okay. So LC was actually like my backup plan. It was like I had nothing else to do. School was starting, and so I just registered. And I knew I wanted to do radio. And going there, I would have had to do a 4-year program. At LC, I did 2 years, and it was the best type of experience that I could have gotten. It landed me a job right in St. Louis. So now I'm gonna try and learn something from this failure here.
Right.
I don't know what it is yet, though.
Yeah, I don't know if there's failures or if they're just like building blocks.
Just things, yeah.
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 Failure is a
happens.
first attempt in learning.
Well, I listened to this really long podcast where they kept calling them failures, and I was like, I don't really want to call it a failure because it wasn't like I failed. It wasn't like I did something wrong. But
Right.
looking back on things, that's what it is. It's a diversion in the plan. Like it's not what you were expecting to do. Like you asked me, trying to get to know me earlier, what my plan for the next 5 years is. I have no idea. My plan for the last couple of years, I thought I had it. So now I gotta start over.
You said,
What did
when
I
I
say?
asked you that question, you said less anxious.
I want to be less anxious.
God, I don't know what it is, but anxiety drives me. And working,
Oh my
no,
God, I feel
swear
that.
to God. And when you work in this kind of business, you're always meeting people, I guess, of stature, of prominence, and you got to just go in bold face and get the interview or get the meeting or whatever.
Anything like that, yeah.
It's almost what it takes to do the thing.
Yeah, but and people go, well, God, you gave this presentation or you talked to this room full of 300, and they're like, are you nervous? I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 1,000 frayed knots on the inside, and I'm just, but it's kind of like, don't let it, like I'm nervous now.
Right.
But you go don't let them see you sweat. You just kind of
That's why you're wearing a hat.
persevere
We
through.
don't see you sweat. 'cause you're wearing
Exactly.
a hat.
So when you said that about
Smart.
anxiety, I was like, I wonder if she suffers from anxiety like I do, because I'm just like always.
It's always there, but I get what you mean. Like, I think that too. Like, yeah, I may have anxiety, but also it's always right. Whatever it is that I'm anxious about ends up being right. So it's just good that I planned ahead anyways. Like, I kind
Right.
of saved myself there. But I want to be less anxious about things that I can't control,
So are you big in the community of Bethalto? Do you still go back? Do you live here in St. Louis now?
I live in St. Louis, yeah. I live in Bevo.
Oh,
South
nice. That's a
Side.
nice area.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just recently moved there, but I like it so far.
A strong Bosnian presence, and they really revitalized that community. What a great.
It's really, really nice. There's nothing but parks, and as I was driving through, I saw a huge community gathering at one of the parks. Everyone's wearing the same T-shirt. Like, it was just it almost reminds me of like a little Bethalto. I'm not even kidding, because there's cemeteries everywhere, just like in Bethalto. It just feels like a small little town, and I like it. It feels nice. It's still close to the city.
Yeah, so I had to research Bethalto because that's
Yeah.
just the way I am. I'm like, I just have like a fascination to need to know.
Right. I still have family there, so.
And so have you gone to the community yard sale in Bethalto?
Oh, the one in Whispering Oaks? Is that the one that you're talking about?
I don't know. I edited it down, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, we did have a community yard sale, yes. I do know what you're talking about. And it was actually like in the neighborhood that I lived in. So,
oh,
yes.
really?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was super big. And it was always the same weekend as homecoming. So, like, homecoming, everybody's trying to get ready for this big, huge dance. And then subdivision sale, and everyone's having yard sales, and you're trying to get to pictures, and it's just, there's cars parked. It's huge. It really is. But it was also always a good time to, like, sell prom dresses, too.
Yeah, you could pick up a secondhand prom dress for like $20. Out of
Resell your
someone's
old ones. It was a
garage.
great time. I would always resell my old ones at that.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I love to ride, and I love to ride through Illinois and hit like these small towns because you never know what's going on. Apparently, there's a lot going on in Bethalto.
Oh, goodness.
Jeez.
Oh,
Have you attended the Easter egg hunt?
the Easter egg hunt? No, not that.
How about the Memorial Day parade?
Yes.
And what's that like?
I think I was actually in it one year.
Oh, yeah, because
think
don't they have like the homecoming queen or something?
Oh, I wasn't that. I was the mayor's granddaughter.
And what is that? That doesn't even sound right.
My grandpa was the mayor. So I
Oh,
think.
Oh
his
my
dad
God.
was a mayor. You guys have
I'm not
something
even
in
kidding.
common.
As when his final years in radio, he was mayor of Maplewood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh my God, the crossovers.
Great. The crossover. There
the
it is.
crossovers.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
So what's it like having a mayor in the family?
I guess we both speak about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the whole time that I was growing up, really. I mean, basically my brother's entire life up until he was 16, throughout high school. He actually, the year that he retired was the year that I graduated, but they still let him speak at graduation.
Is it like dating the mayor's daughter? Is that?
No, it wasn't really like that. I don't think it was really like that.
Did you get like all your parking tickets taken care of?
I always had like tickets to the homecoming. Like when the homecoming was in town, we always had tickets. And we went to Cardinal games a lot. We always went to Cardinal games.
Nice. What about the JC's Carnival?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, that's the one that we would get the tickets for.
And then what about? I only got 20 more to go through.
Jeez, Glenn.
The Bethalto splash pad. What is that?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. First of all, I worked there.
Wait, let me readjust.
I worked there long before it was the Bethalto splash pad. It used to be the Bethalto pool. And I worked there for 4 years. I was actually an assistant manager for 3 years. I ran that place. I'm saying, like, I knew how, like, I did the underground stuff. I cleaned the pool. Like, I love that. Was like my first summer job. And I worked there for a long time.
Okay.
And now it's the splash pad because it was a huge hole, basically. And then they got a grant to fix it. And now it's a splash pad. And I haven't been there since.
Nice. Fly-in car show.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Something
That must be
about
a new one.
planes and cars. Whether you prefer your feet firmly planted on the ground or your hair flapping in the wind, the airport fly-in. You guys have an airport in Bethalto?
Oh, okay. Oh, High Flyers? Yeah. There's an airport and there's a restaurant right by it that you can go to. And the restaurant's pretty good.
What about Halloween parade?
Halloween parade, yeah. And there was also a little place that always did haunted houses on a main road at Bethalto that did really, really good haunted houses too.
I love going through like the cornfields, corn mazes.
Oh, yeah.
I love small towns. sound.
Yeah, there's one of those in Godfrey.
Oh, yeah.
The college was the Godfrey corn
Yeah.
maze. That's where we had to go for the corn maze.
So
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
how many sheets do you have?
Just a couple.
Okay, can I ask questions at you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good stuff.
Jump in there anytime.
Awesome.
A
Yeah.
lot of times I start to like daydream or start talking about myself,
Interject,
and that's pretty
please.
boring. Yeah.
When you were growing up in Bethalto, what kind of music did you listen to?
Growing up, I listened to a lot of pop music. I listened to like a lot of Lady Gaga and dance music. But I listened to The Point a little. Like my mom just loved, my mom loved The Point. She loved rock music, like Weezer a lot, Pearl Jam a lot, freaking All Time Low. I was a little bit all over the place, but I definitely could say that I favored pop. Going into radio, I favored pop, and I thought that I would end up working pop. And I am so much more happy in alternative. They ended
And why
up,
is that?
I feel like it's just more me. I mean, I like pop, but I feel like alternative just says a lot more, and it does a lot more. Like it doesn't. Pop music is just there to get people to listen and hear it and sing to it, but like I feel like alternative makes way more of a stance, makes more waves. There's just so much more to it.
I mean, do you feel really lucky that not only did you not have to travel around, but you got to work in the genre that you enjoy listening to? I mean, that's like a win-win.
Yeah, it was insane. It just felt like that was where I belonged. Felt like everything happened perfectly. I kept saying it was a right place, right time thing, but it was also something that I knew that I had really worked for and really wanted and really paid attention to, spent all of my time on, and will do in the future. I mean, I honestly can't think of changing platforms at this point. I mean, I don't know. I feel a little split in half.
That's the crazy thing about radio broadcasting is people think that you have like a 3-hour, 4-hour show and you come in, you open up the mic and that's it. It takes a lot of prep work. It takes a lot of time.
Right, yeah.
I mean, research guests or to pull down news events and then research that. And it seems like you're always going down rabbit holes. So for every hour of on-air time, you're probably spending 3 hours at least on show prep.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot.
Yeah, and did you build your own clocks when you were on air, or did music director or whoever build them for you?
No, we had a music director who would schedule the music, and we just had a really easy program with it.
Okay, and did you always do your show live, or did you voice track it?
I've always been live, yeah.
Always. Cool. Yeah, because you see a lot of people now, especially on pop stations, and I've noticed this not really at Z, but at Y107, which is like in the Jefferson City, Columbia area. They voice track a lot of stuff.
Really?
I've noticed. Yeah, like I think morning shows are really the only ones that I know are really live.
Yeah, no, that was actually something that I really loved about The Point. And while I was at The Point, I did a little bit of time with Now 96.3, so I did do a little bit of pop radio, like I had wanted to do, and both of them were live and local, and that was something that I really, really love, and something that I also want to stick with. I wouldn't want to voice track a show. Like I would just want to be live.
And passionate about being local.
Yeah.
Because those are the businesses, and it's, corporate takeover, and, it's a shame that, like, I love the convenience of Amazon and Walmart. I like that, I can get a loaf of bread and a chainsaw all at the same store. But on the same token, it's taking away jobs from people. And really, that's what's happening in broadcasting, whether it's television or radio, that everybody's doing more with less. And that voice tracking, I was at Emmis a few years ago interning. I interned at Emmis, and the guy would voice track like 3 shows in his one shift. So when you think about it, that's taking away from 3 other DJs' job. It's just the nature of the beast. And I guess my question to you, Mac, is what is the future of radio?
Wow. Well, I thought I knew. I thought that we were thriving and doing well. And I think that we have done really well, like with the ways that we have to improve, whether it's social media.
Let that gentleman in. Do you know that guy?
I know him. Yeah, I do. She knows him too. He's from our college.
What's up, Dane?
Hi.
Dane, what's up, brother? Actually, I know that you know him. I told him to come by.
Oh. So then why you asked? That was clever how you did that. Yes.
So go on.
Oh, there's a picture of me in your hand as well.
Yes,
I see that.
yes.
Oh, my word.
A couple.
Right. I want to know about this 89.9, but not quite yet because we're in the middle of what you were saying.
The future of radio. I think that they've done a really good job so far with like converting things to podcasting, and I think that live and local is more of the future than like big companies voice tracking and syndicating live shows. Like you said, I think that live and local is more of a future that I would like to see, but I'm told that it's not doing very well. So
and I don't know if it will
I don't we have a large generation of people who just can connect their phone phones, and that's what they do, and
Right.
and that's really going to be the only influence moving forward. I feel like with younger generations, is that what's they're mostly going to learn as well, whether iPods or phones or whatever. Just connect something else.
And I believe in that Instagram. Well, one, I felt you would post something like you'd lost your job. And then I reached out to you and I said, sorry to hear that. I think it's the nature of radio. And I believe, in my opinion, which doesn't amount for much, that really you have to build a brand. And I think it's more entertainment than DJing or...
I feel that building a brand.
Yeah,
That's
because...
what I need to work on my next 5 years.
Because expendable. And then
Right.
everybody can get on their phone for news or for weather. Most news still is disseminated from television, but entertainment, everybody's got what they call it, iPods,
Right.
and your own playlist. So
You have to go that extra mile.
I
And if it's
belie-
in you, you will.
and I believe radio is a medium for entertainment.
Yeah.
And if you can build a good brand in entertainment, I don't think Sirius XM is going anywhere.
Right.
No, I mean, Howard is pretty much the reason why it's still alive and kicking.
Yeah, people like that.
Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
90 million. I just recently looked on Pew, and 90 million people still listen to radio. And of that 90 million, 30 million get it from Sirius XM. So they've
Wow.
only been around that short time, how long? 10 years, maybe 15
Something like that,
years.
yeah.
And they got a third of the market.
Yeah.
So that's crazy talk.
Yeah, and radio really is it's a brand communicating a brand when you think about it, because it's the brand of the station communicating the brand of the artist or the brand of whatever.
Yeah.
When you were there, what were some of your favorite brands?
A brand of a
Like
brand.
either an artist or a particular artist you like to play or stuff like that.
I really did like our artists, like our catalog a lot, the type of music that we played, the way back stuff that I love, like way back weekends and like the block party weekends. That stuff was always really fun too.
Were you in on any of that? The programming side, the
No.
creative. So
No,
all
not
that's
really.
handed to you guys as DJs as far as what shows we're going to run.
Yeah.
And so then you would just facilitate their marketing ideas.
Yep, I would just take the music that I had and entertain with that. And I love new music. I love the hottest, newest track. But I also really appreciated the group of core artists that we have, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters, like stuff like that.
Did they want input from you, or did they just basically say, this is the format, this is how this is the segments we're going to run?
It just goes a lot by what other people are going to listen to. It doesn't really, it's not like the guy who does schedule it picks it himself. Like, it's just a lot of what people are listening to, what the charts say, and then you go from there, what people are
Right,
going to like
data
and what you can make the most money at.
Yeah, I guess they research that data analytics.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, we're going to go this way. And by the way, I brought that water for you, so if you want to.
Yeah, I have one. It's on the floor, but I am getting a little.
Right next to the vodka. So you said you were a movie buff, and Lady Gaga. Did you see that movie, A Star Is Rising?
Rising
Ooh.
Star.
A Rising Star?
Or no, Star is Born.
A Star is
Star is
Born.
Born. Thank you, Dane.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God!
simulation
Wait till
cracks.
you see that.
No, and I have been with her since birth. I have seen everything, every outfit, every movement, everything, and this was the first thing that I didn't see. I don't know. I was just kind of going through my own thing at the time, I guess. I mean, I know she's an amazing actress, and my family has told me listen to the soundtrack, watch the movie.
There's one song in there that will tear you up. I mean, it is that
I know.
good.
I need to listen to it.
Have you seen her live?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Didn't mean to choke you up.
I know. I'm literally.
We can get off the Lady Gaga thing if you want.
I've seen her 5 times.
Oh wow!
my
I've
word.
seen her every time that she's been to St. Louis. So
And what's that? I've yet to see her live, but
it's
I know
theatrical. It's a performance, huge stage. One of the last times that I saw her stage was just a castle, choreography, dancing. She gets into the crowd. There's fake blood everywhere. It's insane.
Is she? I watched a documentary on her on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Is she really that? Since you're a big fan,
Oh, yeah.
and you might know this intrinsically. Is she really? What's the word I'm looking for? Is she really that
Precise.
self-absorbed?
Okay, yeah, that's another way for it.
I mean, like she.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to use that excuse. I'm gonna use
throughout-
that for another cough break. No, I don't
through-
think she's self-absorbed at all.
Like she has people massaging her, and she's complaining about body cramps. And
Well, she's sick. I mean, she really does have a chronic illness.
what is the chronic illness?
She really does have fibromyalgia,
And what is that?
which is basically just a condition whenever your muscles are so tense. It's induced by stress. Basically you've been stressed out for so long of a time that your muscles are clenched, unclenched, and it makes you sick. Like your body, you're in constant pain.
Yeah.
You're in constant pain, and what
She
defines
constantly had
it.
people working on her, and I thought, is this
Yeah. She has to have-
dramatization for the?
No, she really has to have acupuncture.
Horrible.
Like she really does get sick a lot, and it's just her body. Like her body just breaks down on her. Like she had a hip surgery 1 year and came back right from it. I mean, it's real.
And then what a remarkable person then to go through
Yeah,
that.
okay. And then
still
the
get out
applause
and
video came out right after that, and I'm like, how is she doing this choreography on a broken hip? Like I don't even
Yeah.
understand.
There's a lot of famous people that have that. I don't know if you remember. I'm going way back because this was my childhood. The Wiggles. Remember the
my
Wiggles, the
gosh,
childhood show?
Yeah.
Greg from the Wiggles had that. And what they had to do, they had to hire a masseuse for him in order to do the show. And he'd shoot. And then right afterwards, they'd have to go off and give him a deep muscle massage every time they were done shooting a scene.
Yeah.
So like the stuff Lady Gaga puts herself through, I mean, she really actually medically needs that.
Yeah, and then to have that physical ailment and still do what she does is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because for me, I mean, I almost feel like experiences like that, like they take a lot out of me when I'm around a lot of people and doing a lot of things. It takes a lot out of me. I could
does.
never even really imagine doing it at that scale. That's so large.
You want to do anything?
Yeah, it is the bottom of the hour, so we're going to tell you about some cool stuff real quick. By the way, you're listening to WebsterFuse, your
I'm
host.
horrible about that.
Yeah, your host, Glenn Fusilier. I'm Michael Langston, and we have Mac on the show with us. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for stopping in. We're going to have another half hour with her in a sec, but first up, don't forget that week 1 of the Galaxy Radio's first ever annual Battle of the Bands is on Facebook. The polls are live. 8 local bands are going head-to-head, competing to win a live performance here in studio, an acoustic session here in the studio on your station, your voice of Galaxy Radio. The poll ends on December 7th at 11 p.m., and the bands that we have going on right now are Jesky Park, Thames, For the City, Discrepancies, Money for Guns, The Wild and Free, The Monocles, and Tri-State. So once again, go to the Galaxy Radio's Facebook page to vote on that.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I had to do that. That's
Horrible.
the business stuff. That's the bureaucratic
That
stuff.
business that we were talking
Yeah,
about.
that we tend to overlook, or I tend to overlook.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up 3 names that you might have worked with or passed in the hall. John Hewlett.
Yeah.
What's he like?
He's super friendly. He's really nice. He's always out. Him and Learn are always together. I went out for Learn's birthday and saw him, and that was the most recent time that I saw him. Really nice. Met both of my parents at separate times and was nice to them. Like my dad came into the studio and I went into KC and I was like, "Hey, would you meet my dad?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." I mean, super nice. Always
Right.
nice and great.
Because if you think of St. Louis radio, you got to think of John Hewlett, the U-Man.
Yeah,
years
he's on with
at
a 40-year
KC.
career, and I'm like, how?
The
Public address announcer for the Cardinals.
who lost
Oh, yeah.
that gig with J.C. Corcoran because they did some kind of So I don't know. I guess it was back in the '80s or something. But him and his sidekick J.C. Corcoran pulled some kind of stunt on the air just as a joke, as a bit, and it didn't go over so well with the Bush family. So they laid him off for some time, and then they brought him back. He's been there 18,000 years.
If you ever see him walking from the studios downtown at KC to the ballpark, it is the funniest thing. Because
Man on a mission.
He is a man on a mission.
yeah.
He is marching to Bush. And he's John Hewlett. He's royalty, but he's short. He's a short guy. He's a short, balding guy.
Kind of like Bob Costas.
A little bit, yeah, but Bob Costas, doesn't walk like he's gonna murder whoever he's gonna go see. But you say
You
like,
have to, though.
yeah,
That was a dangerous walk. You have to have that look.
Right.
yeah.
You're
Because
not gonna
He's
make it.
walking. He puts his head down. He's
Yeah.
like going. I'm like, I'm going. I'm
Okay,
going.
so speaking of Bob Costas, I know we're all over the place, but speaking of Bob Costas,
Yeah.
this gentleman right here in front of you, Michael Langston, reminds me of Bob Costas because he has a memory that is unbelievable.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Bob
I know what you're
Costas-
gonna bring up.
Bob Costas, are you familiar with Bob Costas?
I Googled him whenever you made the reference, but I don't.
So anyway,
I'm already getting the thing out that I know you're gonna
yeah,
talk about.
I didn't print that out. The one thing I didn't print out is the one thing that I go to.
Essentially, what Glenn is going to talk talk about with me because he brings this up a lot, and I'm hitting.
So the
the
guy's
microphone.
had a stellar broadcasting career. and
Sports
I'll go
broadcasting
into-
started with the St. Louis Hawks. Yeah.
So anyway, you remind me of Bob Costas.
Yeah.
Ask this guy about a World Series. Pick a year.
Hold on, wait. I wrote this from memory, by the way. So there's your key for
I
it.
wrote this. Oh my gosh.
So you'll know if he's
heck
correct
no.
or not.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It
Well,
gets
I
better.
wanted to pick 94 because that's the year I was born.
There's no World Series in '94, which is a shame.
Oh my God, yeah, it says that right here. No World Series. Players, do
yeah,
you know
the
why?
players' strike ended the season early. If the season actually did happen, it probably would have been the Expos and the Yankees, which is kind of so 90s because the Expos aren't a team anymore.
Wow, there was no World Series the year that I was born. That is so crazy.
That is
I
crazy.
picked the one year that there wasn't one, and you knew it.
Well, because you were being born, they're like, you know what? Stop the press. We're not going to have a
I was
World
born on
Series.
New Year's Eve, so
That's crazy.
yeah. Okay, I've got one more, I guess. Or how many more do you want me to do?
I don't know. Just do one. The main focus of this interview should be you, but I guess we'll
This is
we'll
a fun
go with
game.
my skills.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, next one we're going to do is 1975.
75. Oh, that one's fun. That was a big red machine. The Reds beat the Red Sox in 7 games.
Yep, do you know what the...
It was 4 games to 3.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah,
I
4
didn't even
games
have
to
to say
3.
the word.
And if I remember correctly, I want to say it was Johnny. No, it wasn't Johnny Bench. That was the MVP, was it?
That was 76.
That was 76. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Me too.
That's what he thought.
I
Yeah,
knew
really.
that, yeah.
Come on,
The
step it
key.
up a little.
I want to, because it's so stereotypical to say either Johnny Bench or Joe Morgan, because those were the 2 big guys.
It was actually Pete Rose.
It was
you
Pete
know,
Rose.
the
Oh,
guy that-
Pete
It was
Rose.
Pete Rose.
The gambler. Should have bet on it.
Oh, wow. So you know
Yeah.
all this from memory. Super
Well,
smart, man.
you know what happened is he wrote that from memory, right?
Yeah.
And then you checked it. He didn't like go and write that from a site.
I didn't go
He
right
wrote
that
that
from
from
Wikipedia.
his memory
Oh my
and then
God.
went and checked it.
I checked it to make sure.
So Bob Costas was
Really just
named
front and back.
National Sportscaster 8 times, was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. He has broadcasted NFL, MLB, NBA, PGA, boxing, NBA, and ABA, college sport, the Olympics 11 times,
Oh, okay.
and the Kentucky Derby, to name a few. Costas has done radio as well as host a couple of television shows, including NBC's Later for 6 years, which won a primetime Emmy. But he is no Michael Langston. See, I got it right down here. He is
literally
no
do
Michael
have it right
Langston
there.
who can recite every World Series played. Go ahead and ask him, which you already did.
Yeah.
all the way up until like 1902, I think was the first.
1903.
1903 was the
1903.
earliest
Yeah.
year on there.
1902, they must have been trying to put it together. So,
Are you big on sports? Sorry.
No,
go
not
ahead.
quite. Not as big on sports as I am on music.
That's
Not-
fine. I mean, that's still chill.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's into movies.
I like baseball though, so
Oh,
yeah, I
hell
am
yeah.
into movies. Movies and television, man. I didn't used to be into TV, but I'm super into TV now.
I love television. Is television like the greatest thing?
It is.
Netflix has changed television, and I somewhat like it, but also
I
somewhat
mean, when I
dislike
say
it.
television, I mean Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like I watch Fox shows on Hulu. Like
Yeah.
Netflix. I'm in
watch
love
all
with
the Fox
Netflix.
shows.
And
Netflix
also,
lets me binge The Office, and that's quality.
well, I'm just going to tell myself I used a Fire Stick.
Oh, yeah.
And they
okay,
got
a
a
lot of
thing on there
people do.
called Cinema where you can watch any movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you were Kevin Smith. How many movies of Kevin Smith have you seen?
I don't know. I didn't know a whole lot.
You know, so I didn't really know who he was
Yeah.
until I looked. Chasing Amy. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
That's with Ben Affleck.
He
and
did I know he did like the Batman movies. At least one of them, right?
very interesting.
Oh, that guy! I know who that guy is. He's the one in the
Kevin
hockey.
Smith, the director. Yeah.
Yeah, the hockey
Yeah, the hockey
jersey.
movie. He was wearing a
Yeah.
hockey jersey when I met him.
He does. He stars in every movie. He's almost like Quentin Tarantino,
Right.
where he's in every movie.
yeah.
Oh, he did Daredevil.
Yeah. If you give me a list, I can say.
Was he in the studio? Did
He
you
was,
do an
yeah.
interview with him?
The Rizzuto show had him in, and I happened to be there that day. I think I was honestly like filling in that day, and I met him, and he was really cool.
Out of all the interviews of, I don't know if you want to say stars or professional musicians that you've met, has there one that sticks out the most or that you always remember?
My first one was really sentimental because it happened to be for my favorite band. It was for the frontman of the 1975 Matty Healy. So it wasn't the whole band, it was just him. But it was the first interview that I ever did, and it was a video interview. So I was able to watch it back later, and that was really cool. That was super sentimental. I saw a couple of other bands perform in studio, like the Wombats, and then I did a really, really good interview with Alt J as well at the Peabody Opera House, which is why it was so good because it was beautiful, the scenery. And that's good. I mean, I really never had any bad experiences. They were all very good.
So you never met anybody that you were wanting something to talk with and then found out they were a total dick?
Jerk.
No, nothing like that, really. Nothing like that, honestly.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you've never interviewed an athlete or a musician and kept them waiting because you had a commercial break?
No, I never did that. But I understand it's part of the gig.
Right. Business, again. Did you have something?
No, keep going,
okay.
keep going.
So you love your puppies.
Oh, I love my dogs, yeah.
And what kind of dogs do you have?
One is a Siberian Husky, and the other one is a Beagle mix.
I love beagles.
Yeah, they're both really cute.
I have a little Shih Tzu, and she is so great. Like, when I come home, I'm like the greatest gift on God's earth. Because when I come home, it's like, take out the trash,
Right.
you know? But the dog will
that
jump
little
on
dog wiggling her booty.
Right,
her
yeah, the little tail shaking.
I know.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
melts my heart.
They're 5 and 3, so they're so good.
There's something about a dog's unconditional love that can never be
Replaced.
matched by him.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
like, I live alone, but I'm not alone because I have them, and they are so cute.
Don't
So
you
good.
have a tattoo of your dog?
I do, yeah. That's my most recent tattoo is of my Siberian Husky.
who did the artwork?
His name escapes me at this moment. It was Iron Age, and he's a single
okay.
needle guy. Oh, his name.
All right.
Clay Carson.
How much artwork do you have?
Carson. It was my 10th one.
Wow.
Is it true that tattoos are an addiction? Do you think that?
Yeah, absolutely. Once you start, you really can't stop. And the more that you get, like, the bare skin starts to look weird. The bare skin stands out, and it bothers you, and you have to cover it with something because then they all fit together, and it's good.
So it's like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple, but then I just stopped and it was like no big deal. But I did really enjoy like the needle.
Yeah.
You know? I've never done needles before recreationally, just telling you.
Right.
But I did enjoy that as, you know, I mean, that's like one thing I guess I could see how
Dana's over there trying not to explode after that remark about a needle.
Right. Getting back to television, what is your favorite programming television wise?
The X-Files.
Oh, really?
I love the X-Files.
That's an old show.
Yeah, they just brought it back though. They rebooted it in 2016 and brought it back again in 18. There's been 11 seasons now. The 11th season.
Do you have a fascination with aliens or outer space?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that proves that there are. Do I believe that they're like trying to contact us? No, because why would anyone try to contact us? Like, they're probably doing fine on their own. I don't believe that they would really.
Or maybe they can't get
anything
through the
from
solar
us.
system to us.
Yeah,
Because
we're like a joke to them.
Yeah, we're so minute. We're like ants.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
And they're like a supreme being.
But they're pretty cool guys.
Have you been following Kennedy Holmes?
No, 'cause I'm not super big on the conspiracy, but
Conspiracy. What's conspiracy?
the alien conspiracy. Is
Oh.
this outside of that? Are you switching topics on me?
I'm switching topics.
Okay.
I'm still on television shows, but
We
Kennedy
are
Holmes.
switching topics.
Switching gears. I should have like a little sound effect like a car peeling out or something. Kennedy Holmes from The Voice.
Oh, okay.
The St. Louisan who has made it to like the finals, or close to the finals.
I don't know. I stopped watching The Voice after they did the 3rd season the same year.
I think, yeah. Now they're saying like 8 seasons. I was trying to do the math on that. That's what happened. I was like, how do they have like 8 seasons already? And it's only been out for like 3 or 4 years.
You did 3 in 1.
Right, really did 3. It dumped me. 90 Day Fiance. Do you watch that?
No, but I've seen people tweet about it.
God,
I'm not
what
in
a
on that, but I've
great
seen the
show.
tweets. Yeah.
Do you watch that, Dane? Man, talk about some dysfunction. I love watching other people's chaos and drama that I don't have to be involved. Excuse me. That I don't have to be involved with.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So what they do is they meet these people online, or they go to another country and they have a hookup, and then the other person wants to get into America, but they got to get like this visa, and they only have 90 days to get married. And of course, the show only picks the most dysfunctional people to air.
Right, of
and to
course.
televise. Oh, it's great entertainment. I highly
Glenn, I feel
recommend
as
it.
though you frequent the Kardashians a lot.
Oh,
No.
gosh. Oh, you frequent them, huh?
No. Right. Simultaneously.
Right. All of them.
Oh my God, this is rated
No,
R
that,
show.
now see, that is one thing I cannot stomach. I don't know what you call it, self promotion, or I don't know. They're too much of themselves.
They make a lot of money off of it, though.
That one girl with her cosmetic line,
Kylie, yeah,
She's
she makes
like-
the most. She's like isn't she the youngest? I don't.
billionaire.
Pretty
She's
sure.
like a billionaire.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't know if it was her or Kendall. Kylie's older. Yeah,
That-
but she's making so much money just through Instagram. I mean, I'm like, I wish I knew how to do that. Like, I would love to make money through Instagram.
Talk about building a brand.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she put a product to it.
Right.
So you build a brand, and then you have
It's
a
just
product
like,
come
wow,
along.
is it really that good of a brand? A lot of people like it, but does that make it that good?
Exactly. Well, you're onto something there, and that's exactly it.
Thank you.
Something could really be bad bad, but you're able to market it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Nickelback.
Yep. I mean, Nickelback. First of all.
I mean, I kind of like Nickelback. I never saw them live, but
I hope I didn't just offend you.
Oh,
with
no,
that.
not at all. No.
I don't even know where to go.
We were on Nickelback,
We got
so
a full list.
you can pivot
Right.
off of that.
Let me start
however
back
you
up
wish.
here to the top. So tell me about Mr. Todd Hannaford.
Oh, I didn't have him.
You never had him?
No, I didn't have him.
He's been there like 50 years.
I don't think so.
Do you know who he is?
Tell me, because that may
Well,
be a
now
common
he's
name.
like the assistant principal
Okay,
of
yes.
Civic Memorial.
Yes, but I did not have him. He taught at or he was the principal at elementary schools. He
He
got my
looked like
brother
a
in
pretty
trouble
cool
once.
dude. I thought when I saw a picture of him, I thought, man, now there's a guy I could really learn from.
They've been changing a lot the last few years, but I had Miss Pitts. Had you asked me about Deborah Pitts, I could give you a
What
long
about
story.
Deborah Pitts? I was wondering about her.
Exactly. My uncle had her as well. She was just really, really like nice and sweet and
Down to earth.
and yeah, and was fair and was there for like a long time and was always out there in the halls telling everyone to have a good day and like with her eagle spirit. Oh my gosh, so much purple and gold. Came to like the cheerleading competitions, the basketball meets, matches, wrestling meets, everything. She would go to all of it. So yeah, she was good. And most of my siblings had her, but in more recent years they've been changing a lot.
I had a teacher like that was really cool. Outside of Larry Baden that I have here, this guy would teach class by sitting on a desk. He'd spin around a desk and he'd hop up, and just really cool.
Yeah. I had a teacher in high school who would tell us war stories from the Gulf War and how he got a steel rod through his boot at 2 a.m. and he had a giant hole in his foot, and he'd tell us that. And
Did
then,
you ever get to see it?
Yeah, he took his shoe off and showed it to us. It was really cool. And then he also told he had a ton of tattoos from his days in the Army, and he had these tattoos on his arms, and you'd always see them on Casual Fridays, and it's just lightning bolts. We'd had Casual
Fridays.
Right.
We'll kick
for
our shoes
the
off and show you our
teachers.
steel rod.
Yeah, and he had lightning bolts going up and down his arms. We're like, what are those for? Because all the other ones are for his Army buddies. But he's like, I used to kickbox, and whenever I kickbox, we wore gloves, so I got lightning bolts coming up my arm because
Oh my
I thought it
gosh.
looked cool to have lightning bolts coming out of my gloves.
That's hilarious.
Whenever I kickbox, he was a good kickboxer too.
Kapow.
So I mean, like, yeah, I think his nickname was like
Sound
the
effects.
Bolt or
Kapow.
something like that.
Yeah.
I had something, but now I lost it. Okay, so tell me about Learn.
Learn's great. I love Learn. She actually like recommended me for something recently.
Nice.
The Delmore Loop Pet Parade. I got to judge the pet parade. She's like, you were the first person I thought of because she knows that I love dogs so much. So she like when I went to Lindenwood, she came there and did a video for me. I had a project and I was like, I know Learn from Keishi. I bet I can get her to come in and do a video for me. And she did. She's great. She's super nice.
And she's killing it there on the morning show.
Oh yeah.
And the other sidekick that they had on that show, I was really surprised that he got the axe.
Yeah, I know. They let Carl go too. Love Carl.
Yeah, I
Carl.
thought he was really good on that show.
My mom loved him as well. She loved
I mean,
him.
he did characters.
Yeah, he's great. He's
he
a super
came with
nice guy.
information.
Yeah.
But he has something with Sky Trade, doesn't he? Doesn't he do something with the Blues?
Maybe, but he sent me a message and he was like, "Hey there, fellow employee." He's like, "Don't worry, been let go from there 3 times before now. Keep your head up." I'm like, this
That's
is a trend.
funny.
Like a lot of people have been let go a couple times and come back. So I don't know. Maybe I'll end up there again.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm
that's
like,
the,
oh really? Huh?
that's the thing about
weird.
radio is they tend to recycle. I don't know what
Yeah.
that is. And then Lux. Do you know Lux? She went to school here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She actually, whenever I first met her, had tried to encourage me to come here because I was at Lindenwood and I wasn't very happy there. I didn't like it as much. So she tried to encourage me to come here, and I tried to, but that never worked out. So, but yeah, I know her.
I wanted to encourage you to come here. They have a great journalism school.
The only thing is, I don't have any student debt right now, so I
Nice.
don't
Ooh,
want to
that's a
change
good
that.
idea.
But you could hunt down like
Yeah,
I
let me
paid
find
lot
a
of, like,
scholarship or something. I do
scholarships
kind of
and
want to go back to
grants.
school. You know what I would do if I
Oh,
went
I've
back to
loved
school,
it.
though?
Oh my God!
What would you
it's
do?
been-
I would do music production.
Oh, we got some good stuff there too. Yeah.
I want to actually produce music, I think, because I really love the music side. I really love the production side whenever I was in school making commercials and things like that. So I think
I actually
We
got a
had-
buddy in
really
that.
fun.
We had a band in here. They used to be really big, like back in the 70s. What was the name?
I don't know.
Mama's Pride. So it's two brothers back in the 70s from St. Louis. They had a band, Mama's Pride, and they got really big. And now they just came out. Somebody approached them to do a record deal.
Right.
And both of the brothers had songs that they had written. And what the producer took songs that he thought were the best, like 5 of each, and then put them together. And they were in here the other day being interviewed. And they said something very interesting. So I asked them, I was like, what would you do differently on this new album? And well, we would play our instruments.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, what? Yeah, so they had written these songs, written the notes, the chords, the melodies, all that, the change-ups, the lyrics, but they didn't perform any of it. They sent their voice down to a studio in Atlanta, and they had studio musicians, and they're like, oh, but we couldn't play the instruments as good as these guys. These guys were phenomenal, and they were great. And
Right. That is so crazy. I had not heard of that.
You see a lot of people doing that. Solo artists especially will have
That
studio.
that makes sense.
Or
Right.
like even a guy
band.
who will play like their own guitars and stuff when they're out there. They'll have studio people do the guitars for them.
Yeah.
So that's probably a big niche or market to get into, like
Right.
studio production, when so much of it, it's music's even gone the same way as radio, where everybody's doing more with less. And
Right.
you can make an album. I can make an album right here on Adobe Edition.
Well, and I saw that you have to be able to do a lot of things. You have to be flexible, just like how you have to be in radio. So I don't know. I think that means you have to be able to play an instrument, which I can't do. So I can't play an instrument, but I could.
Spoons?
Triangle.
Right, yeah.
Triangle.
I have a voice. I have a voice. Hello. Like, can I just use
Can you
this?
sing?
Is this the moneymaker? No. You hear this
Sing the
cough
national
in my throat?
anthem
No.
for us.
Literally, I don't have a voice right now. So, no.
What's the biggest change from when you first started to where you are now? I want to know about the progression of your craft, of your career, like what you were like in college as to your growth now.
I kind of stayed the same because I don't know. I didn't say the same. College is where I started to really started to become myself and figure out who I was. And I've grown a lot since then, but I've learned a lot more about kind of how I do have to make a brand, and being a personality is one thing that I've tried to focus on. And just creating an audience, being a personality, and being able to go forward with that is something who I am. Who am I? That's kind of what I've been trying to figure out, but I'm still not quite sure. And now I'm really not sure. Now I'm a little shaken up, so I'm not exactly
Don't be
sure.
shaken up.
I
I was told, stay
find
the course.
my direction
Stay
again.
the course.
Oh yeah.
I'm interviewing with this company right now that's pretty big, and I just have to tell myself, stay the course.
Whatever the course is. My course right now is like a field.
Well,
Just a field of flowers that I'm just running through with my dogs.
You're just frolicking.
Yeah.
Frolicking. How do you say that word?
It's a
Frolicking.
bunch of pine trees.
Well, you're basically
It's
getting paid
Christmas.
for being off, right? They bought out your contract, or are you paid up now
throughout my contract, yeah.
And then how long does that run, if you don't mind me asking?
Shortly after the new year, not too far into the new year, so
you got some time.
I can enjoy the holidays at least, yeah.
And then have you thought about your next move?
There are so many options. There are so many next moves available that I don't even know. I don't know which one to pick.
When this happens, are you able to go in there and pull down a lot of your material that you can put towards a demo reel?
I got a little. I probably could have gotten more, especially since I had planned on doing a show. But I was just like, I have to go. So I kind of left right after they told me. I'd pulled the previous nights. Luckily, I have a friend there who pulled a few more for me. I told him which states to pull. He pulled a few more, and I can get those. So that way, I don't have them yet though. So that's kind of why I haven't started. I've been giving myself a little bit of room to just kind of be.
No compete clause. So you're a pretty big deal. You sign a no compete clause. It's like, we want you exclusively, and then they also
they didn't anymore.
and then they retain, I guess, the rights to your product that you provided. So
That still stands though. I mean, the non-compete still stands. It doesn't really matter. So I don't know. I don't know.
they're not going to put up a fight for you to get.
They might. They said that they would, but they said they could. But at the end of the day, it's a legal document. People have told me that it's even a legality to hire me. I would best case scenario, I would probably have to move, which kind of sucks. But
Right, because usually you're not going to move to another media market.
especially when I have a fan base here, when I have an audience here.
Right.
I know our promotions director, Alyssa Bartle, was really hound me to get your photo for Instagram and stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
so that because she was
got to
such
do
a
that.
big fan of it.
My
so.
photographer Dom, she took a few as well, so those are going to be posted on my
Nice.
Instagram.
Yeah, and I was gonna videotape the interview. I was gonna have one camera this way and one camera that way, and I was gonna edit. But I went down to Media Center, and all they would give me was some little trinket camera. I'm like, well, that doesn't even shoot 1080p. And then I set up my camera, and I didn't even turn it on.
Oh
So,
my God.
Good job, Glenn.
right.
We're 0 for 2
Well,
right
we'll
now.
get lots of photos.
Well, I appreciate you coming in.
I
And
appreciate you having me. I've
and I
missed the
wish
mic. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I'm taking so many photos because I need mic photos for my Instagram.
You got some good
I'm
photos.
Mac on the mic.
So this WLAC,
WLCA.
is that Lindenwood?
Nah, no, that was Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, that
that's
was
what I
Godfrey.
mean.
That was the.
What kind of station do they have up there?
Alternative as well. So
I
that's
mean, is it on air? Like here, we're
yep, FM 89.9. I don't remember what the frequency is. I know somebody in the room knows, but I don't remember what the frequency is.
What wattage are they? Could we hear them like here in St. Louis?
You get them some places in St. Louis. Yeah, it depends on where you are, but you get it pretty close. Yeah, mostly in Illinois. It goes through to Collinsville in Illinois. It's a good signal, and they have the online stuff as well. That you can stream it online if you want to.
Well, I thought this was a good progression from.
Oh yeah, we've got some before and after
WLAC to
photos.
this one.
You definitely can see a lot of growth.
That's a total transformation. That's really awesome.
So then imagine what the next picture is going to be.
Yeah.
Probably
no.
syndicate it.
Yeah.
Syndicate it. You're
Wait,
destined
what?
for great things. I can feel it.
Thank you.
Well, what do you think? Should we?
We
have like 3 minutes. So do you want to run down the latest news in sports?
Yeah, and you can chime in if you want,
All right.
if you know a lot about it, or if you don't know, or if you have an opinion, just right off the bat.
Sounds good.
Because a lot of sports happened today, and Glenn and I both are really big sports guys. So the other day, Mizzou was able to square down their new quarterback after Locke is going to be heading to the NFL draft. It is oh my God, what's this? Kelly Bryant, that's his name. Kelly Bryant is transferring out of Clemson. Bryant, my bad. Kelly Bryant. I can't read.
That's right, I can't talk.
Yeah.
Together we make a great radio show.
Really bad.
Oh yeah, Kelly Bryant, the quarterback from Clemson, is coming to Mizzou. That's part one of Mizzou news. Number two is that Barry Odom, who is the Mizzou head coach,
Extended his contract.
Yeah, just got his contract extended to
3 years.
Yeah, $3.05 million up until 2024.
So about $1 million a year.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal.
No, it's not
for
at
coaching
all.
football. But there's a lot into it. If you're a college football coach, you have to recruit. I mean, that's like a 24/7, 90,000 hour a week job.
Yeah, and yeah, it is a lot. And to shift gears off of Mizzou, because there was a lot of big stuff that happened at Mizzou, but also today, Cardinals landed probably the best right-handed hitting first baseman in the league, Paul Goldschmidt.
So he's a first baseman.
Yeah.
How many does this guy like jack him out of the park left and right? How many home runs?
What was his line last year?
But he quirks them, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's a hitter.
last year he hit 290 with 33 home runs.
So the Cardinals picked up a first baseman that can really hit the ball.
Yeah.
And what's his average?
He was batting 290 last year.
That's not bad.
Yeah, he had a down year last year.
How old is he?
30.
So do you think that they brought him in with a 1-year contract buyout? Like, didn't they have to sell the farm to get this guy?
No, they actually didn't. They only gave up Luke Weaver, Carson Kelly, in minor league infielder, and a draft pick. That's it.
Okay, so no money was thrown.
Not a lot, really.
And then they'll sign him, I guess, after.
We're hoping. We don't want another Hayward.
Right, but that's going to be the deal, though. Don't you think they bring him in, and then it's kind of like unwritten? I mean, why would you get rid of Luke Weaver?
Clauses and crap. Apparently, there was a thing with the trade because it's business. It's the business.
What it is.
No one likes business.
No.
Business.
It
What
is
do we need
business.
structure for?
Yeah, a
Right,
part
exactly.
of the trade.
Why do we need a show clock?
A part of the trade the Cardinals wanted to do was they wanted to have it where they could have a 72-hour period to negotiate a new contract with him. That way it wouldn't just be the 1-year rental, but the Diamondbacks wouldn't do it unless the Cardinals gave up more. So this is a fair trade-off, and this gives us a year of him, and then we'll be able to negotiate. So it's a lot like a Hayward, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to be as mean and rude about it as Hayward was. I mean, Hayward won a Gold Glove with us, helped us win 100 games, and now now he's in Chicago, and he pretty much told St. Louis he doesn't care.
Okay, so we have 2 shows left, right?
Yep.
Next week's guest is...
We're trying to get 2 members from the Webster women's basketball team in here to talk about their season because they have like 18 freshmen on a 22-person squad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
Total turnover. And the coach has never had that. The most I think the coach said he has had is 5.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So
They have a party that night, so I'm not 100% sure if we can square that away. If we can't, then we're going to do a year in review on all the
and the
news.
17th, we have
It
a
is
guest coming in.
A
and I forget.
psychology major, and
Yes.
she's going to talk about her study that she's doing about introverts versus extroverts
In the
and-
workplace.
Yeah,
That
and
sounds
how
fun.
promotion in the
totally
workplace
interesting.
is different between introverts and extroverts.
Right.
You're in a good company. We get phenomenal guests. We just don't pull in
Yeah.
any slop off the... We just don't go out there in the hallway and grab somebody.
I know.
No
I'm so
offense.
happy to have been here.
We research them, and
Yeah. No offense to any of our previous guests, but I think you're like the most famous guest we've had.
Oh, thank you. I'm jobless, so I'm not really that famous.
Well, I mean, people still know you. People still love you.
I'm a has-been. And then in a month or so, I'll be that again.
You're a shooting star.
Right. Yeah.
Just going from orbit to orbit.
Yeah, I'm like the tail end of a shooting star right now, where it's not that bright, but like it gets brighter the further you.
Well, and then what they say is, for every door that closes, one opens.
If only I had $1 for every time that someone said that.
You know what though?
I know.
If you were slopping music at that radio station middays, that's what you would be doing.
Yeah.
You're worth way more than that.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
Yeah.
And we know you want to stay in St. Louis, obviously, but if another major market were to call, where is that
That's
number
a great
one place
question.
where you'd want to go?
I mean, the places that I'm looking are even just way too high. Like New York, Chicago, those are 1 and 2 markets. That's literally never going. Like that's not going to happen within a few months. But anyway, I mean, I don't really care.
So you would move.
anywhere.
You would move that far away from your family? 'Cause you're like a big family person.
I am a super big family person, I know, but I'm also the career girl. I mean, my mom
Right.
is pushing me, like she knows that this is what I'm made for, and that if I have to go somewhere else to do it, I have to. I would love to go somewhere warm, like California or Arizona, maybe.
That's where I said I would love to retire to Arizona.
Right? Yeah.
No
Arizona.
humidity, and then they got baseball in the
It's just
spring.
hot.
and-
I also even thought about Kansas City because that would be close. I could still stay close.
and Kansas City is a great market.
Yeah, they really are a good
Exactly, and a
market.
lot of shows go through there. So look for me at
What
Kansas
a great
City.
city!
What?
What a great city!
Yeah,
like
I've been there before, so yeah.
You got a lot of fountains and stuff in there.
fountains.
Yeah.
and they got great baseball, great football.
I don't know
They're
about
only
the
5
baseball right
hours
now.
away.
They're only 5 hours away. But whatever's next, I know that I'll be updating and posting and telling everyone about it. So
Well, thanks for coming in, and good luck.
thanks for having me.
This was WebsterFuse with your host, Glenn Fusilier. I'm your co-host, Michael Langston. We were here with Mac. Thanks to everybody for listening, and we're going to be live next Wednesday, same time, 8 o'clock, here on your station, your voice, the Galaxy Radio.
You're listening to Webster Fuse on your station, your voice, the Galaxy Radio.